Welcome to the Filmsteins, the double feature podcast. Join us as we unravel the interwoven experience of the continuous conversation of cinema. Take part in pairing movies with their cursed counterparts, movies that share DNA, or even pairing questionable duos by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/Filmsteins. We offer tiers at the $1, $5, and $20 level, where the $5 tier will grant the ability to request films to further the discussion. So grab some popcorn, sit back, and get ready to join the 100-year conversation. This is the Filmsteins, where movies are more than just entertainment, they're an experience.
They're an experience.
All around you. And welcome back to another episode of the Filmsteins. Thank you guys for joining us today. Today I'm joined by my mommy issue having kind of friend, Lucy.
That's me. Hello, everyone.
Remember, we post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with brand new episodes of the Filmsteins. Some recent episodes include Probomista, The Revenant, Challengers, King Richard, and Memories of Murder. Remember to leave nice comments, thoughts, and ideas over on our Patreon as well. Come subscribe for $1, $5. Come right in. We'll read your questions.
Are you stressed and filled with anxiety like I am? Maybe in a bit of pain from that car accident you had a few years ago? Well, the sponsor of today's episode, Hempville CBD, has us covered. They have the highest quality products created by chemists and doctors. Hempville carries everything from CBD to THC dispensary grade without those despicable dispensary prices. Order your Delta 8, 9 edibles and vapes along with the THCA flower and get free shipping when you spend $50 or more at HempvilleCBD.com. Check out the link in the description for more details.
But today we are discussing Bong Joon-ho's 2009 film, Mother, in celebration of Mother's Day. Shout out to all the crazy moms out there who will do anything for their kids, including kill someone. That's crazy shit.
That is crazy shit. And they're so proud to admit it, too. I'll kill for my son.
Yeah.
You know?
They say that, and you need to believe them.
Yup.
I just wanted to start off by saying that I am still a huge fan of Bong Joon-ho. It's about the same after watching Mother and Memories of Murder, but he's a phenomenal director and leaves a lot to chew on. So I don't forget, I do want to mention the strange parallel between season 1 and 2 of Twin Peaks. I mentioned this, I think, a little bit in Memories of Murder. This similar kind of air of mystery and uncertainty between Memories of Murder and Twin Peaks season 1. And a few years later, we get this really great film, Mother, that shares something similar and conclusive as season 2 of Twin Peaks. Especially as we started to learn about Moon, that she was disturbed and getting around in this neighborhood, doing God knows what. But unlike Twin Peaks season 2, the reveal of the murder is much more sensible and thematically explosive, in that this mother is having to deal with a fact that her worst nightmares were never filled with.
Right. A fact that no mother will ever want to accept.
And especially coming from a mother who is, overbearing and protective of this, young man who has special needs, of course, hence the kind of character relationship. While at the same time, in almost a absurdist way, the lengths a mother will go to clear her boy's name. So it's awesome. I don't love this movie as much as probably any of the others. This is probably my least favorite Bong Joon-ho movie. But this is a great baseline. I mean, this is better than 99% of movies ever made.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm pretty much there with you. This movie is probably going to be as hard to talk about as Memories of Murder. And again, I'm not too familiar with the rest of his movies, just pretty much Okja and The Host. Maybe I've seen Snowpiercer, I don't know, and if I have, I don't remember it. I probably fell asleep, who knows, with my history. But these are definitely the bottom two, and I think I'm leaning more towards Mother being a little favorable over Memories of Murder. Maybe I enjoy that conclusive ending a little more than you, because I also like season 2 of Twin Peaks.
You're the only person who likes Twin Peaks season 2.
Well,
Although I will say Twin Peaks season 2 prepares the runway for season 3. So, and which is the greatest thing to ever land on television.
Right, you got to appreciate the thing that comes before it.
Sure.
Yeah. But I definitely wanted to like these movies way more than I did. But like you said, it is a great movie. It is a great baseline. I do like everything he has to say here about motherhood and the way he goes about it. You know, it's not this superhero of a mother like you see in other films. You know, your mom's like the greatest thing ever, or she saves you from kidnappers or whatever. And it's not the other extreme where, yeah, you have these movies about moms that are kind of creepy, kind of eerie, but they're like in the horror genre, like, you know, Babadook or something.
Yeah, good example.
But it's this like complexity of what it's like to be a mom and these life things you have to deal with your kids doing. And on top of that, having our character here, having her son here be mentally challenged to some degree. He doesn't really look it, you know, but there's this point that's made. They call him retarded and an idiot and all these things. So we don't know how full on the spectrum he is. You know, she's not feeding him kind of deal, but there's these challenges that come with being a mom to someone that's not part of society, like someone who wouldn't have these challenges be. So I like that. I like that spin on it, you know, all this unconditional love, these lengths a mom is willing to go through. And I'm not a mother myself, so, you know, how much of this is actually true? You hear moms say these things, but are they actually willing to kill somebody for you? Like, I don't know about that. Are you, mom? So I like that. I like that this mom does. There's no superhero complex here whatsoever. She's overbearing and she's annoying too. This film has very good, complex characters. I do have a bit of an issue with the pacing. I think it also falls in line with Memories of Murder. Just something about these two films, they're just a little slow. Is stuff not happening fast enough for me? I don't know. Just something about them and their pacing that just bores me a little.
There's something kind of funny happening between the two in their length. They're not very long, but...
Aren't they over 2 hours?
Just over. I think the average movie of modern times, though, is like an hour and 55 minutes, though. So give me a break. Give them a break. Because there's something very specific that I think Bong Joon-ho is trying to get you to feel with both of these movies. Like we kind of said in Memories of Murder, it's more of that frustration, similar also to David Fincher's lesser movie, Zodiac. We're in this journey with the mom. She's the only one really forming any kind of investigation, vigilante style. To such a degree, I was wondering, are the cops going to take any of this as evidence? Are they going to take this as any real data to think about? But there were no like miracles or, you know, very convenient kind of moments. She had to get boots on the ground, get caught, you know, break into people's houses, do a little bit of bad cop, good cop herself to get her answers. And they weren't answers she wanted.
Yeah.
And so this ended up being a very methodical movie.
Yeah, I definitely get that. And I get it more in Memories of Murder than I do in this film, because I feel that kind of desperation in that movie. And here, yes, it's the mother's desperation, but this film feels a little less personal.
Yeah.
That it doesn't quite match.
And I was about to say that I sort of feel like the movie does a little bit of a disservice to our mother here, because I know you said you liked our characters and everything, but I think we sacrifice a little bit of proper character of our mother for her dynamic with her son. I think the only sense of human we get out of her is when she's hiding in the closet, in Jin-tae's closet, when Jin-tae and that girl come home and they have sex and she like gets turned on.
Yeah, she's
her toes curl and it's like, oh wow, we have this moment of humanity coming out of her. She's not just this absurd, overbearing, crazy woman with a good heart, of course.
Of course.
But it indicated this moment of, oh man, she's lonely, like in a wanting kind of a touch and company kind of sense. And she gets almost the complete opposite in a repulsive kind of way of having to maybe deal with her son sleeping in her bed. Maybe she wants to masturbate or something kind of thing. You know, she's rejected maybe some of this humanity. And then we don't get any more, I feel. It's simply her on this mission to prove her son didn't do it, then to do whatever she can to cover up that he did it. And then we do kind of get a convenient, oh, this other person may be a little bit more likely. Just another injustice of the cops.
Right.
Because he's slightly more likely than just a golf ball with his name on it. And I say that because I'm with you on the objectivity sacrifices some of the kind of personal journey that this really is. At the same time, though, it's full of mystery, and mystery really is kind of impersonal, and it starts to challenge us with who we can trust, and maybe literally how absurd and psychotic love can manipulate our mind.
Yeah, and I think that's what I like about the characters themselves. Maybe not how well developed they were, but the unreliability of them. And I don't have much experience with unreliable characters, and I don't think I ever paid much attention to it until I saw Amadeus. And I was like, holy crap, this is the most unreliable motherfucker I've ever seen in my life. And it just sparked this new world of unreliable characters.
Probably the greatest example.
Yes.
It better be, I don't know, but it better be studied in your unreliable character 101 class in college.
Yes.
Amadeus, that's the first movie you watch.
Yes. Because are we rooting for the mother here?
It's funny because...
And are we rooting for her up to the point until we find out that it was her son and then we stop giving a damn? Like that complexity of emotion here. Because most of the time, you pick your character, you pick your side, whether they did it or not, you stay true to them. And then you find out they did it and it's like, well, there must be a good reason. But we're not from the point of view of the son here. We're from the point of view of the mom. And I don't know, she's just so crazy. But you feel for her.
It's really kind of a genius formula happening because she's a mom. One half of the most important thing to humanity. She houses an uncontrollable love that's going to lead her to do heinous shit. That's more than anyone could ever ask of someone. That's proper unconditional love. Of course, you know, unconditional love is an idealized concept, and
right, all these questions of, would you still love me if I was a worm?
Exactly. The answer is probably not, you know?
Sure, I'll keep you in a jar, whatever.
And Bong Joon-ho is preying on our sensitivity of that caretaker dynamic, especially with a special needs guy who is nice. Like, he's good. He's not bad. He just needs guidance. And he's got a cool friend who, by the end of the movie, is probably the most reliable character, funny enough, Jin-tae. I like our little escapade of, we've got him. He's it. He's got the golf club, blood on it, and, you know, they take it to the police station. They're like, that's lipstick. There's no telling if it is or isn't. It's probably blood from one of those old guys he whacked or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And at the same time, another addition of the formula has to be our sense of wanting justice, right? That's one reason Memories of Murder probably lands a little more neatly with us, because we have a sense of justice, of at least finding the guy, you know, serving him right. And not having that, not getting that satisfaction is inherently frustrating because you're getting teased.
Yep.
The whole movie.
Yep.
And in Mother, we're on the other side of it. You know, we're part of the possibility of being on this crime, right? Or at least having some perspective on it. So of course we want justice, but do we want justice? Do we like the mother, like you said? Do we like Do-jun? We know immediately we can't trust him. We know immediately that he's very easily manipulated. Do-jun, did you break the mirror off of that Mercedes? I sure did. It's like, bruh, dude.
We saw you miss.
And we have that really great moment of, it's kind of a climax moment of how the case is moving forward in any meaningful way with the mother and the lawyer and stuff. She asks him if he remembers anything. He's like, yeah, I remember something. He's like, I remember you tried to kill me with you putting insecticide in a Bacchus bottle. And she's just, she's one of those moments where she realizes that she really can't work with her son in this way.
And that's when it's confirmed, too, that she's just as unreliable as him. Because why did she try to kill them? Both of them, really, right? She was going to kill him and then kill herself.
Yeah, and that's also a small little moment that maybe after a second watch it would need, but almost had this implication of character and history of what may or may not have been happening in their family dynamic at one point. But it's so irrelevant to the situation that it just didn't give us much else.
Yeah, because I also kind of took it as some implication that maybe he is capable of murdering a girl. And the mom knew that. So that's why she was trying to, kill him and kill herself too, because why would she be able to live with herself if she killing her son? But then she didn't. And then she has this whole obsession with giving him medicine to make sure he's healthy and he's good. Kind of like a regret. I don't know. There was some substance there that I couldn't quite put my finger on. That I liked. Don't get me wrong. I liked that. There were several reveal scenes here that I liked quite a lot about this movie. Because almost parallel to that scene is the scene where she finally meets Crazy JP, which that's hilarious. But she meets him and she is just so sad and just distraught that he doesn't have a mom to fight for him. And that scene is as powerful as the scene where you find out that she tried to kill herself and her kid.
Yeah, there's something almost really familiar in that when Crazy JP was, cuffed, about to be sent to jail. It's like watching those videos of less fortunate people or I don't know, someone hurting an animal. It's like, I would never let that happen to my animal or something. And you feel for the thing that's being mistreated, the child that's being thrown in a dumpster or whatever. You know how crazy moms are in America?
Yeah. Ain't that the truth?
She had this climactic kind of moment of, no one fighting for this kid when she knows the real answers. It should be even easier for Crazy JP to be let off if he just had the right person working with him. Because he didn't do it,
Right. And just this internal struggle she has to go through. Because she's not going to now throw her kid in and say, no, actually, it couldn't have been this kid because, the girl obviously got nosebleeds and that's how the blood got on him. No, she's going to keep her mouth shut and get her kid out at all costs. And that's when some of that insanity of this overbearing motherly love comes through. That's where it pushes into the eerie. It's like, damn. Too far? Too far, Mom? I don't know. I'd love to meet Bong Joon-ho's mother.
Maybe this is his confession.
Just to put that out there, though, I thought it was hilarious that Crazy JP wasn't crazy. I was waiting to see some, maybe badass crazy guy or, I don't know, someone not dumb kind of crazy. I don't know if those are usually synonymous like that. You're either retarded or you're crazy. You're not put into the same category like that. And it's just it was so funny to see someone worse off than Do-jun like that. I like that. My expectations were crazy.
Yeah, there's almost this social stance of kind of putting off these crimes and incidents that happen onto just less fortunate people and more easily getting away with it. It's also kind of funny that you don't have the right to some kind of state-provided lawyer if you can't afford one, because Do-jun at least seemed to just not have anyone right away. They just got him. No lawyer, and then she had to find someone who was kind of funny, because it felt like the lawyer she found really didn't want to take any part of this, but also at the same time felt like he had struck gold. And I guess he did and didn't, because he did in the sense that it's a win for his firm if he would just plead guilty and get, a light sentence and made, I guess, his firm look good. That's what it made it kind of sound like. But at the same time implying that he doesn't want to do any fighting. He just wants an easy win, an easy sort of working with the system.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that was my least favorite sequence of the film. Everything to do with that lawyer.
I think there's something very specific there about Korean justice systems and stuff.
Because it's also odd that now we have another case like this with a mentally challenged person being accused. So is that like a thing that just happened in Korea around this time or whatever?
Yeah, you gotta wonder if there was some history of just
locking them up,
pinning these kind of crimes on people who just couldn't afford to fight back or literally just couldn't intellectually fight back.
Yeah.
You gotta wonder if there's something to that. One other interesting kind of yin and yang contrasting point was the aspect ratio, and that we had a lot of close-ups and personal moments that were not so personal. There was a lot of kind of triangulating on people's eyes, which is just a funny thing to see in such an objective film investigating the topic of something so personal like a mother-child relationship. I don't know how to take the balance yet. I'm not smart enough with film quite yet.
Yeah, it almost plays into that whole teasing element again to kind of bring you in, like, hey, I got a secret. I got to tell you something. Like, come here, come into my world, come into my craziness. But then at the same time, we don't want to do that, because why would we do that with these unreliable characters? Like, we don't know if he killed somebody or not. This mom, yeah, she's protective and she's loving, but she's also a little bit crazy. Even the best friend, he's like doing these bad things, like in the beginning of the movie. That was an obvious setup to get some money from the rich people, like an obvious hit and run setup. So he's not, he's not a good person trying to do these things. So maybe it's just like that teasing nature of we want to know, but we don't want to know. And kind of like the mom, like she wants to know if her son did it to get him free. But then when she finds out the truth, it's like, well, now I don't want to know. Like, you want to know the answers to things until all of a sudden you don't want to know the answers to things.
Yeah, that's well said. There's this kind of gossipy thing where when you hear it from the horse's mouth, it's like, oh shit, you're all of a sudden kind of part of this.
Yeah. It's a good way to put it.
Speaking of which, how do you feel about our kind of Laura Palmer reveal of Moon being this, I guess high school girl who's trading sex for rice?
That was weird.
And she takes pictures of people. I didn't get the impression she takes pictures of her clientele necessarily, because there were weird photos. A few of them were.
Yeah, because there were photos of the old man, and based off what we think, she didn't have any kind of relationship with this man. She just took a picture of him.
Yeah, I think it is implied that he was preparing a space for them, and she was going to that little hideaway to meet him there.
Oh.
because I think he had some rice.
Oh, okay.
And which is very, if that's true, I can't remember. I should have looked it up before. But that's some nice, subtle storytelling, deceptive
Yes.
storytelling.
Yes.
And at this point in the film, late, mid, third act, we're in such a state of mind that we don't even know if we can trust the junk collector at all. He's creepy. He lives out in the nowhere. He collects. He's a hoarder, basically. I did like that little slick moment. It felt very Korean of the junk collector going by with his cart. The mother takes out the umbrella, which is also a moment of character defining. She could have taken it, but she paid him a little bit of money.
Yeah. And to like another level of that, she could have taken the first umbrella she was offered by the police officer. She was like, no, screw you.
And also when she took the junk collector's umbrella, the junk collector knows that she's the mom of that boy, and he knows that he's the killer. He knows the whole time who she is, right?
Yes.
I would assume.
Yes.
Unless, I don't know, maybe it's wrong to assume that we would know the mother's face because of who got arrested, because how many moms do you know of the criminals who get arrested that you see the mugshots of?
That's true, but she was going around handing flyers and saying,
yeah.
I'm the mom.
She's being pretty vocal about
Yeah.
it. So it's hard to say. I guess why, in that case, would the junk collector tell her the story? Because she was able to pretend to be someone else. So maybe he didn't know. I'm not sure.
That's a good point. Maybe he just forgot. I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point.
Probably best to assume that he doesn't know her face, I guess. I did want to shout out the most Lynchian feeling moment of the film. Not Twin Peaksy in kind of plot, if you want to call it that, the reveal of Moon and stuff, and the feeling of mystery. But Lynchian specifically in that when the mother goes to see the old woman who makes the rice wine, I think
so, yeah.
Looking for the phone, and it's just this bizarre ass moment.
Yes.
And she pulls the phone out of the rice. It's so...
Yes.
Which is funny because, everyone knows, at least back in the day, you used to, when your phone got wet, you put your phone in rice. Thought that was funny.
No, I completely agree with you. Everything from what was happening in the scene, the phone, the rice, the old lady, to the lighting behind her and the exchange they had. I mean, I can definitely see it being a Lynchian moment.
It reminded me, every bit of that reminded me of the reveal of Killer Bob in season 2.
Yeah. Yes.
Totally. Even her look.
Yes.
I was just totally uncanny. And I was just thinking by the end of the movie, man, the parallels between season 1 and 2 and Memories of Murder and Mother are uncanny. It's so bizarre how similar they feel. I would like to ask Bong Joon-ho's point of view on David Lynch. What kind of movies of his he likes?
Because there's also the other standout, which is the opening credit. And that is probably the most bizarre opening credit I've seen. It's weird as fuck, and I liked it. And I liked it even more after we found out why she was there, or kind of what went along with that, because they were wearing the same clothes. I mean, it was just weird. You have this mom, you're like, okay, what is going on? She's dancing out in an open field, and the music's not eerie, and it's not joyful. It's just this weird, calmness, kind of. But she's doing these weird dance moves, and she's covering her eyes and covering her mouth.
She's hard to read, yeah.
She's so hard to read, and it's so bizarre.
Yeah.
And I like the weirdness. I like the bizarreness, okay. But then you find out that it was just right after she killed that guy for her son. You're like, holy shit, oh my God, that's awesome. To be able to draw that much emotion in your opening shot without even knowing the rest of the film. Great.
It's brutal. It's really metal because we get that opening dance, opening credits kind of shot. And then we see the same location later in the movie, but she's not dancing. She just moves right through it. There's like this kind of seated memory, from an hour and a half before of this, this is familiar, obviously. It's it's kind of shocking. It'll live with you probably for the rest of your life. And it's almost like a literal kind of visual foreshadow, as hardcore foreshadowing as you can get, is of what's happening on the inside of her, what just went down.
Yes.
Because what she's feeling must be so dynamic and, schizophrenic that...
How else do you put it besides this?
Yeah. It's just, if you were to look in the mind of someone who was experiencing something like this, it's just totally unreadable. It'd be just noise. And that's kind of what we get. We get some mixed messaging, distress. I see his little smile in there. She's blank for the most part. But her motion, her dancing is sort of fun. And
the music.
And the music's nice. It's kind of eerie because of everything else, but it's not...
Yes, everything else she's doing is eerie, but the music is not, and that's what completely throws you off, because the music is what's supposed to solidify what you're watching.
Yeah, of course.
So this didn't match, so it's like, what the hell am I experiencing right now?
It's good, and I've never seen anything else like it. It's awesome to see that kind of echoed in a different way, but literally still the same later in the movie.
At the end.
Yeah, at the end.
Yes. Agreed. Completely agree.
And then we get this weird notion of, throughout the film, in small ways, it's kind of this thing that sneaks up on you until the very end, of letting go, accepting the things that have happened, your hand that's been dealt, and how easy it is to just let it happen, to just move on. Which, as we see in the movie, and as everyone's experienced in all of time, it's easier said than done. It's always kind of funny when you look back, especially because you're like, man, I don't know why I was so hung up on that. Everyone's experienced stupid stuff like that.
Yep.
And she has, the button, the push. She knows about the button, the push. And of course, it's like a fortune teller-esque kind of thing, tarot card reader, ethereal, supernatural thing that is the least bit believable because nothing else in this film is already believable. But then in the final sections, we see that come to a head and have some truth behind it. Whether it's placebo or, just a flip of the switch. Which, of course, it's mostly just reminding you that it is that easy when you're ready. It's just like you wake up and you forget that you ever felt bad.
Yep.
But the hardest part is getting to that point.
Yeah, I love that. Here's this mom, she tried her damn hardest. And at the end of the day, she can only do so much. And just to have that switch to be okay with things is pretty awesome.
And what's up with the mom bus? Where are these moms going?
Is that a Korean thing?
I don't know. The world needs that.
Yeah.
We need more specific mom trips.
Send all the moms away for a day. Actually, I don't know how well that would go. But I like that. I like that parallel back to that dance she did. And almost it's like her let it go dance. Like, I did what I did. It's done. I'm going to dance it out. Let it all the energy just fade out.
All right, man. Well, that's another Bong Joon-ho film in the bucket. Thank you for watching that with me and talking about it here today.
You're welcome.
Do you have a budget guess?
Yeah, my budget guess is $5 million US. Take that as you will, please. I think I guessed something similar for Memories of Murder, and I was off a little bit, but this movie's a little bit later, like 6 years later, right? So, I don't know. Take it as you will.
Well, it says here that it was $5 million.
No.
Yeah, I don't know how you're guessing so many of these so regularly now. I feel like you're cheating.
No!
You're getting too good.
I'm getting too good. Dang.
And apparently went on to make $17.1 million at the box office.
Okay.
It's since become a very, like Memories of Murder, big time cult classic across the world. Bong Joon-ho is probably top 5 most famous directors of right now. So he's got a following.
I will say that it was hard to find reviews for this movie.
Yeah, I think this is probably his lesser known of everything from Memories of Murder and onward. I think he's got a film before that called, it's kind of a lesser film. It's less Bong Joon-ho and more making a movie happen. I think it's called Barking Dogs Don't Bite. But I think, yeah, it's...
Okay, because what I did find was he's an amazing director. This is a great movie. It's like, okay, I get that, but give me a little more. Why? So, all right.
Well, over on Letterboxd with 161,000 people, there you go. Not an awful lot compared to some of his others.
Wow.
They weighed in at a 4.2.
Okay.
Which I think is a 10 high. There's obviously a Bong Joon-ho bump that we're facing.
Yes.
That's fine. We need to indulge the greats, no doubt. But when he makes crap, we need to call it out. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's pretty good. I'm giving it a 3. I might have to come back and think about that again and maybe analyze Memories of Murders again and kind of place them, because I think I gave that one 2.5 and just kind of fixed my view on those. Maybe even requires a rewatch. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I had to do something similar because Memories of Murder has this early 2000s stink with it, and I'm not real into that. I'm not into it visually at all, and so it definitely hurts the experience in some way.
Yes. Yeah, but I think this movie here had some scenes that I just can't get over that just bump it up a little bit more.
Yeah. So I think I adjusted Memories of Murder as more of a 3.5.
Okay.
And Mother's a 3 for me, yeah, in that way. Because I was bouncing it around in my head as a 2.5, and it's just a far superior movie to be anywhere close to something that's middling.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a fantastic movie. It's just a little soft on speaking to me.
Yes.
So, and a little side note, completely unrelated to Bong Joon-ho. There's a movie out in theaters right now called Not Another Church Movie. And I just wanted to say, how in the world do we let this crap get through into theaters, like smaller chains like Malco Theater and whatever? But your average A24 film has a hard time having a wide release. Just because it has Jamie Foxx in it doesn't mean it's worth putting in very many theaters. And so, that's why they've only made $10,000, but that's all I'm saying. I don't know why.
Damn.
Like the Garfield movie coming out, cool, right? Chris Pratt, whatever, it's
Chris Pratt?
Illumination, I think.
Spoilers.
That recent, Sasquatch movie, okay, didn't come out here, but this crap, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I get that. Like Problemista not coming out, not that it was amazing, but
how does that not come out in some of these smaller theaters, but Not Another Church Movie does? I don't know. I'm just a little. I think it's somewhat of a spoof of Tyler Perry's films.
People like that though.
Maybe, but a lot of spoof movies themselves didn't even come to theaters.
It's all about who you know.
Yeah, totally. It's as clear as day, isn't it? The connections.
Yeah.
Oh, Jamie Foxx. It's got to be everywhere. How about we just re-release Booty Call? We wanted Jamie Foxx in theaters. There we go. But yeah, man, thanks again. And thank you guys for listening to this episode of The Filmsteins. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Remember, we post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with brand new episodes of The Filmsteins on patreon.com/Filmsteins, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, YouTube. We appreciate all the support. Thank you guys. Remember to leave nice comments, thoughts, and ideas on our Patreon as well. Come subscribe. Come request a movie. Come request Moonstruck, for example. Come request
something good,
for example. But until next time, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of The Filmsteins. Thanks for tuning in and joining us on our cinematic journey. We hope you enjoyed the discussion and gained some new insights and perspectives on the world of movies. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform, especially Patreon at patreon.com/Filmsteins. And follow us on social media for more film-related content. We love hearing from our listeners, so if you have any feedback, suggestions, movie recommendations, or book recommendations, please feel free to reach out to us. Until next time, keep watching and keep loving the magic of movies. This is the Filmistines, signing off.